G'day everybody, welcome to another edition of The Local, a chance to find out what is going on at grassroots footy all across the great nation of Australia. And it's all thanks to the team at Premier Data who help us out finding all the stories that matter and the numbers that matter and that coaches across the country are using to dissect games, to analyse opponents, to make sure that who they've got in the team are the right players going forward, especially as we get ready for a finals campaign. And special guest this week on the pod, for the first time in 32 years, Heidelberg West will be getting ready for a finals campaign, the Northern Footy Netball League, and the coach, Michael Missen, joins us to tell us all about it. Mick, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Pretty impressive, mate. After 32 years, I remember as a Collingwood supporter back in 1990, the 32-year drought, 1958 to 1990. There was a long time between drinks. What's it been like at Heidelberg West in the last 32 years?
It's obviously been a challenging time for a lot of people that have, gone to work. A lot of heavy lifting from a lot of people. So to get the result on the weekend and have the footy gods smile on us and all the results went our way, it's just, fantastic for them to get a bit of reward for effort, really, to be honest.
So tell us what happened on the weekend. What were the gods needing to do for you and how did it all unfold?
So three teams, us, Reservoir and Watsonia, were all level on wins. We had the poorer percentage of the three teams. All three teams were playing teams below them on the ladder. So realistically, you look at that and go, geez, we're probably against it a little bit. So we needed something to go our way. And Old Eltham delivered for us. They got their job done against Reservoir, which obviously pushed us above them. And the rest was sort of history now.
Were you keeping tabs on the game throughout your game?
Initially, no. So at the start of the day, I sort of asked and requested that we just focused on ourselves. Let's not really get too caught on what we can't control. But by about halfway through the third quarter, I started noticing a lot of blokes in the crowd and just supporters sort of around phones, fist pumping and high-fiving and, all this sort of stuff. So I obviously was aware of it. And our game was pretty much finished by three-quarter time. The game was sort of pretty safe. And I said, bugger it, give me the phone. I'm going to start checking it myself now so I can actually be aware of it.
That's great. Yeah. So you got the players on the bench when you're doing that, I imagine, or have you got a coach's box and you're separate from the players?
No, the players are with us. And they were all doing the same. So I think they knew something was up halfway through the last when they looked around and they're going, why are we too short? Why? And then I started to go into late game management and taking guys off the ground and realising that we could probably afford to play with a couple short and start looking after a few for next week.
Oh, so hang on. Not only were you keeping track of the scores of the opposition, you were taking players off the ground, didn't have 18 on the field.
Yeah, I was starting to go through that mode of we're up by about 90 points and you're thinking, well, if they kick a few late, it doesn't really matter. Percentage is not a problem for us. But if we lose important player late, it would be a nightmare. So let's get off and let's get started.
Wow, gee, that's clever thinking. I must admit, I'm not sure if I would have thought about that. Is that something you've done before, or has this just hit you in the moment?
Spur of the moment. I just got to think, what's the worst case scenario versus what's the best thing we can get out of the last 5 minutes of this game? And there wasn't a lot of positive by keeping everybody out there. So get them off.
Well done. Well done. Well, you always know when you're watching the games or you're a player in the team, you always know who the coach rates highest in those scenarios. They're the ones they get off the ground quickest. Was there any feedback on the back of who wasn't taken off the ground?
I did think about that actually, and then I could see a few guys looking at me like, where's my call out? And I was sort of thinking, unfortunately, we can replace you, but these other big fellas we probably can't. So I apologise, but that's just what it was.
Well done, mate. That's beautifully handled, just by the way. So when the siren went and everyone knew that you'd made the finals for the first time in 32 years, what was the vibe like? What was the moment like?
There was a lot of emotion, as you can imagine. The anomaly of it was our game probably ran a little bit later than the Old Eltham game. So there was with about 2 minutes to go, there was a bit of celebration going on the field from our playing group, even though the game was still playing out, because on the sidelines people were celebrating. So the last 2 minutes was, just let's blow the siren and walk off and let's get out of here. But as soon as our siren went, we had players and supporters and parents of players and past players all sort of coming on the field, and a bit of emotion, a little bit of tears, lots of hugs. And for us, just really, really pleased for them that they were able to share the moment with us, to be honest.
What about for you? I mean, you've been a Heidelberg West boy all your life. You played 11 years there. You've coached for 4 years. You've spent the last couple of years under Andrew Tranquilli at Diamond Creek and come back as senior coach this year. You've spent a lot of time, a lot of investment emotionally and mentally and physically as well with the footy club. What about for you finally getting there?
I don't really think too much of it at the moment. I'm sure at the end of the day I'll look back and reflect a lot more. But at the moment, I'm never satisfied by much. So I'm already moving on to I want to win a final. I don't want to just make finals. I want to actually get out there and get the job done. Fantastic to tick the box, but I've got more boxes I have ambition to tick. So I'll just move on to the next one at the moment. I haven't really had a chance to reflect and think of the significance too much. It was more around making sure the supporters and the people involved had their moment to share it with us.
Yeah, there's some of those people that you maybe want to name for us that have really put a heap into the footy club in the last couple of years or last 20 years, whatever it might be.
I think the two that stand out to me is Pete Taylor, who's played probably about 400 games of local footy, and Damien Moore. Both of them played in the last final in '94, and they're still actively involved. And they've watched their own kids come through, play senior football, senior netball, and so forth. And their kids are in our team. They're getting to the back end of their career, and to be able to see that actually come to fruition, that's a lot of time to invest in the footy club. So to be able to see the faces and share that moment with them, it was really brilliant.
Yeah, well, that's the best part of local footy, mate, as you well know, that the people that invest so much time and energy they for nothing, they're the moments they get their reward. Those special little boxes you tick along the way. So that's really cool to hear. Did I hear correctly that there was a bit of a thank you gesture sent to Old Eltham after the game?
Yes. So after the previous week's result, when we defeated Reservoir, the Old Eltham president sent me a direct message and said, congratulations on the result. Just want to let you know that we're approaching this week like it's our grand final, and we're going to go, all guns blazing. There'll be no holding back. And I just sort of said, mate, if you get the job done, I'll come and hand deliver 10 slabs personally for you. So before I got off the ground, the phone was messaging and the direct messages were coming, and it was like, where's those beers, Mick? So I spent about an hour in the rooms, did the formalities, and grabbed the boys and jumped in the car and went and dropped off 10 slabs for them. So
that is brilliant. So after the game, you qualify for the final for the first time in 32 years, and you have to end up delivering 10 slabs of beer to another team. This is unbelievable.
Man of my word, Daniel.
Good on you. What was the reception like when you got to Old Eltham?
It was very interesting, I won't lie. They were well and truly enjoying their celebration, and there was a bit of attention to it, but obviously they asked me for some words, and I just thanked them. Obviously, it means a lot. We're allies this week, but once we come back to next year, you're enemies again. So don't get too excited, boys.
Good on you. That's great. That's great local sporting banter, that is. That is awesome. So this weekend you got what's only in the elimination, is that right? And you beat them by 40-odd points in the home and away rounds?
Yeah, that's correct.
So how do you attack this? What's going to happen this week? What do you see unfolding?
I just think it's going to be a ripper game for both teams. We're probably the two teams potentially not spoken about as the two that would qualify in the five. And we're probably surprised a few the way that we've gone about it. But we obviously played 6-7 weeks ago. It was a miserable day where the game probably suited us. We know what their strengths are. They'll know what our strengths will be. Just looking forward to it. It's going to be a ripper contest. I think it'll be a 50-50 game. I think any neutral supporters will be thinking, it's a flip of the coin. Where's
the game?
Layla Reserve.
The reserve, righto. All right. So that's where the game is this weekend. And it's been obviously a challenging period. How hard's it been to get players in a club that hasn't been playing finals? How difficult is the challenge of getting players to come, to stay, to be a part of your footy club when you're trying to build something?
Well, as you can imagine, we don't have a strong junior foundation. So when it comes time to recruit, you got to try and sell what your club can offer them and what the enjoyment factor will be. And there's definitely been some times where I've been knocked back, with recruits because they've sort of decided they didn't want to come to a place where they didn't think they were a chance to contend. And to be honest, when you haven't played finals 30 years, it's pretty hard to argue with that. So going forward, I just think it's fantastic for the club because they get the opportunity now, to sell that message of ambition and dreams and desire to contend. And there's no reason why they can't be an attractive club for more recruits going forward.
Yeah, well, that's the challenge, isn't it? You got to sell something, and if you can sell finals, that certainly helps going forward. So it's the first step on the journey for that. What sort of lessons did you learn from Andrew Tranquilli at Diamond Creek? He's obviously done a great job with the Creekers, and you were there under him for a couple of years in the last couple of years. What'd you learn from him?
A lot of things. I can't speak highly enough of my time at Diamond Creek. Very fortunate. He's a master coach. He's a genius, to be honest. I went there. Honestly, I went there thinking I had a pretty good grasp of senior coaching to begin with, and I leave there at 200% better coach, just because of the time and commitment, attention to detail, and encouragement from him to obviously challenge myself, challenge the playing group. Senior assistant, midfield coach, looked after guys that are on VFL lists, coming off VFL lists, ex-AFL players, Darcy McPherson, Dale Marshall, Jacob Booth. They're some of the best players in the league. So to be able to go work with them firsthand, thanks to AT, I learned a lot, and I was able to have an impact there, which is gives me great confidence going on to senior coach myself now.
Was that always the plan? Because you were senior coach at Heidelberg West for 4 years and then went to be an assistant at Diamond Creek. Was that always the plan to try and develop, or was it just something that popped up?
Yeah,
a
little bit. Wasn't necessarily initially the plan. The plan was, I probably thought, I've had a fair go at it. We've missed finals on percentage for 2 years back to back, and I thought maybe it was time for a different voice, and then I'd just think of something else for my own development. I always want to get better whenever I'm doing anything. So if there was an opportunity to develop myself as senior coach, I'd look at it. And then through a connection at Diamond Creek, they rang, and I said, yeah, I'll have a look at that. And it all ticked all the boxes I wanted. And I spent, obviously the last 2 years, great time, played in 2 grand finals, won a premiership, worked with high quality players, worked under an amazing coach, built great relationships. I'm very grateful for my time there, obviously.
Yeah, good on you. Well done. Stretched out. Challenge yourself and come back better, and look what you've done now. So tell me about Heidelberg West. Tell me, what sort of footy club is it? Give us a bit of background for those that don't know anything about it. Why do you love it? You've been there a long time now. Why do you love it?
I just think it's a quite a special place where you walk in the door, immediately you're accepted, no matter where you're from, what walk of life. You're part of the Brown and Gold Brotherhood straight away, and that's forever. Whether you leave, come back, it doesn't matter. You're always welcome. You're treated with respect. Great family club. As I was saying before, there's people that are involved through generations, so their kids come back to play for the club. Personally, my own self, I've made lifelong friends. My best friends come from the footy club, and that was part of the draw to go back and work in a coaching capacity with 2 or 3 assistants who I've played with, been to weddings with, our friends, our kids are friends. To be able to share that experience with people you care about is obviously something that was really appealing. And I think that's what, to be honest, why the club's still going. The club's 90 years old, hasn't played finals for 30 years. There's plenty of clubs in that time that would have shut the doors and said it's too hard and kicked the door over. But, mate, credit to the people that run the place and put the hard work in and do the heavy lifting. But it's an amazing place where people want to come and they don't leave.
Awesome. That's Local Footy Clubs 101. That sounds like a great place to be. So well done to everyone that's built that environment, that culture at Heidelberg West. And I know the answer to this question when I ask it, but I'm going to get you to sort of expand if you can. You haven't been there for the last couple of years, but you've come back. But how come this year's the year that they've made finals? Is it you? Are you just the greatest coach, or what's happened?
I'm certainly not the greatest coach. I won't lie. You can ask the players. I'm sure when I get grumpy, they don't think I'm the greatest coach. But
that's your job sometimes to get grumpy.
Yeah, I know it's part of it. But I think just, they're obviously coming from a little bit way back. They struggled the last couple of years when I was away. But we've come in and we've just broke it down. We've really got to work on our method, our fundamentals, and we've implemented a really strong system. And week by week, they've just grown. Footy's become a bit easier. The method's clearer. The system's better. The structures are a bit easier to follow. And the confidence that comes with that is twofold. So all of a sudden your role gets easier. You improve your fundamentals, you improve your method, and everyone sort of comes up with it itself. And obviously I've got a pretty good balance in the playing list. I've got a lot of young guys under 23, but then I've got a handful of experienced guys that have been fantastic leaders for me on field. So I just think the mix has been good. We've won the games we needed to. We've got better each week. I think we've won 7 of our last 9. We're just growing week to week.
Well, it sounds like a place to be, and a big final coming up against Watsonia this weekend. How did you celebrate last Saturday?
Oh, I went to the movies.
Well, by yourself?
No, unfortunately, I've got to juggle 2 hats. So I've got 2 young boys that were desperate to see Spider-Man. So I promised them during the week that I was confident we'd get through and we'd be okay, and I'll take them to Spider-Man. So the club was pumping. The boys were well and truly tucking into the beers, but no. Got to put the dad hat on and take the boys out and see the movie. So
you won the game. You've qualified for the finals for first time in 32 years. You take 10 slabs to an opposition team, and then you take the boys to see Spider-Man at the movies. Did you get any late night phone calls from any of the players?
Nah, not really, to be honest. They're pretty well behaved. I think they're still a bit scared of me. It's in that early phase where they're probably
Oh, nice.
not confident enough to get on the horse and ring the coach. So I'm sure later on in the year that might come over the off season. But at the moment, they're just probably a little bit on edge still. I'm not sure how far they can push the boundaries with me.
Yeah, milk that as much as you can, mate, because they'll work you out eventually.
Yeah, I know.
So how difficult is it managing coaching and family? And I'm assuming you've got a job as well. How do you put it all together?
Oh, just having an amazing family, mate. Like you, obviously yourself, you've been in that environment, but you need support from the family, like your wife, your kids. Understanding from my boss. Some days he comes in and I'm reviewing games and on the phone and doing things that I probably shouldn't be doing at work, but he understands that that's part of the passion of it all, and that's part of the makeup of who I am. And I'm very fortunate to be supported by a lot of good people. And you just find a way. Get up early, go to bed late. Yeah, you just try and find a way. You just work it out.
Just find a way. That's what you've got to do. So this weekend, obviously Tuesday night training, Thursday night training. What's Thursday night going to look like? Do we have dinner? Do we watch the footy? What happens on Thursday nights at Heidelberg West?
No, so Thursday night we have, obviously, like most clubs, we have selection night. There will be the fine system in place. This week we've put out the invites. We're trying to get as many past players back and family members in as much as we can to obviously share Thursday night. We've invited the entire team that's still with us from 1994. Come and obviously share selection, come and have a Palmer. We're fortunate we've got an amazing sponsor, the General Chicken Co. company. If you don't mind me plugging them. But they look after us and they'll put the meals on, and obviously those guys will come in and have a free feed and obviously share the night with us.
What a great idea to bring the guys back from the last finals campaign that are still around. Who thought of that?
I think that was one of the players. They reached out, got the wheels in motion, and the committee's followed up with it. So they're doing a really good job there.
That's exactly what it's all about. That is brilliant. Well done to whoever came up with that. That'll spur the players on and give them a real incentive for this week. And all roads lead to Layla to see Heidelberg West take on Watsoni in the elimination final, the Northern Footy Netball League this weekend. Good luck to you, Mick. Great to chat to you and find out more about the story. And we'll be cheering for you on the weekend. Go get them.
Cheers, Daniel. Appreciate it.
Good stuff. Michael Missen with us, the coach of Heidelberg West. First time in 32 years they'll be playing finals in the Northern Footy Netball League, and we wish them nothing but the best. What a great story. Exactly what we're after here on The Locals. Catch you next time.